I have to remember that this is behind me. And I'm just like, I was like, my
Don't smack
clippy
your
is just
head.
like, yeah, I'm going to snap my own. I always want to kind of clip claw. I like, it's just
Oh,
called
yeah.
like a, is it called a clippy or a claw? Clippy?
What
Clip?
do you call it?
Just a clip?
I just called it a
Hair
clip.
clip?
Hair clip.
And I choose to call it a clip claw.
Well,
So it sounds like
yeah,
a
clip claw.
clip claw,
Clip claw.
like a horse.
Like an old timey horse on a radio
Yeah.
show.
I'm doing Foley art and I'm like, clip clop, like,
Coconuts.
yeah, coconuts. I love that you know that.
I have old parrots. I've said it before.
I'll say it again. Woo, okay. Anyway, I think that covers it. Normally, this is where I would say it's time for round 2 or 3 or whatever of Upcycle Roulette, but we filmed a video and it's kind of lost in the ether in the archives somewhere between like airdropping, exporting. Our computers just had a time with it. And so that one's on pause. We might pull it out of the archives later. And in that one, I will say a lot of like, well, this is number 2, you know, like the second video. And like in the first one, we did this. So all that to say, this is kind of 2.5?
Yeah.
Third one? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's time for another round of Upcycle Roulette, the game that we possibly created. We're not sure, but patent pending. We take 3 elements, 3 categories selected at random, and then I have to rework something, and it could be a hit or a miss. We'll see. The 3 elements are an upcycle technique, an upcycle technique that I featured either here or on the Patreon. And so if you want the nitty gritty for that, you can go watch it over there, but we'll just kind of be like running through it. So upcycle technique that I've previously shown somewhere, a garment pulled at random from just like a pile I've been keeping to the side, and a wild card. So the stuff before you now, random. I try to sort of put it into piles and then we'll just be like, you know, we've numbered them. Basically, Avin's behind the camera. She's pulling all the strings. She is drunk with power, and I'm at her mercy and the mercy of the numbers. So let's pull up the random number generator. I should have spelled this out before. My generator. The first category. Are we doing technique?
Technique.
Okay. The first category is the technique. Let's see, 1 through
6.
1 through 6. Oh yeah, and maybe I should mention that we have kind of whittled down the videos, so there are more than 6 upcycle videos, but maybe we've already used them, or you know, it would.
Like
it's kind of within the wild card.
Yeah.
We were just trying to make sure it's all spread out, so it's not just like, all right, it's puff sleeve, and then I'm like, here we go, easy for me. We want to make it really difficult for me, of course, because it wouldn't be fun if I wasn't struggling. Okay, 1 through 6, and drum roll, clip clop, clip clop, clip clop. 1, number 1.
Number 1.
I don't know if I feel like I need to like. And can you see it? Anyway,
No,
it's
not
number
at
1. Okay, no, not in a little bit.
Soutache.
Soutache.
So we're doing soutache.
If you haven't seen that soutache video yet, then it's basically like, imagine embroidery, but it's like a little whatever. Imagine this is a piece of string, and I'm sort of like creating a design, and then, you know, a pin in place, and I sew it down, so it's kind of like a 3D embroidery or a linear applique. All right. The second, I don't know, category. Is the garment. So I've kind of, you know how it is with a sewing studio. You kind of pull things to the side. You're like, it's not something I have an idea for, but I don't want to donate it because I'm a greedy little hog. So I'll save it for this game. So how many of those do we have?
I laid out 7.
7. All right. So 1 through 7. Clip clop. 2. Sorry, this is not planned. It's not 1, 2, 3. I mean, it might be 1, 2, 3, but anyway. Yeah. Wait, here's the one.
This is the one we're not
doing because we gotta sort of.
We usually go through all the ones that like
up until
the number
is, yeah.
And
it makes sense at the time. Basically, if we had a giant bag, it would be like, oh, it's the 8th one. You know, that's at the bottom. So I'm like, 1. We're not using that. 2. You know, this is she's hidden them. I can't see them. They're lying down on the floor. I don't know. So these are rules that we've made, and we're explaining the thing that no one knows about. The thing we like
sense.
to build a hell that we then have to figure out how to get out of. Okay.
This is the first one you're not doing.
We're not doing. Okay, so just a little teaser for maybe a future video. You'll see this.
Yeah.
This was a dress that I got at Red Light Vintage. They have a $10 room, which I love. And so this was some sort of vintage dress that made sense at the time. So I think it's basically, some of these are full garments and some are just like partial to kind of get me started. So this is sort of like a skirt, a part of a dress. So that's a no. Maybe you'll see it in a future video.
This is the one.
Okay.
You're doing.
Okay. Ooh, okay. A white mesh top with sort of a loose gather. And all right, I'm seeing possibilities, especially soutache. Okay, I'm seeing some possibilities. Yeah. Except, what's the wild card? So she's kind of made a list, numbered these, made a list, and I don't know. It's not just like 1, 2, 3. Like she's got a system.
Yeah. They're random.
Okay, and how many things are on the list?
9.
Okay. 8.
Elastic.
Elastic. Oof. It's funny because that was the example I used for soutache, and so I'm like,
it was predetermined.
Okay, it was predetermined by the gods. With elastic, that could be just. This could be the soutache. Like, instead of using a piece of spaghetti strap, there's that. Or it could be, maybe I could beef up that gather, and kind of do that. You know, some like leotards have that little thing. It could be that. It could be, I could interweave them and make a sleeve. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see.
I will let you know the rest of the rules, even though you already know them. But so that the audience is clear.
Okay.
You have to use the elastic.
Okay.
And you have to do some form of soutache. On that garment.
Okay.
You can include any extra element you want from the table. You can add anything extra, but you just have to do those 2 things on that current garment.
Okay. And if I don't do this to your liking, then I will be publicly executed.
I will publicly shame you.
Yes.
On the internet.
All right, done. Okay. I think this is very doable. I feel like the 2 or however many, the 2, yeah. This kind of automatically, I feel a little less panic, but that makes me panic because then I'm like, am I too confident? And then I'm going to fail.
You're too comfortable.
Spectacularly. And this is another classic example of what's the front, what's the back. Here's what I kind of originally thought for this. I think it was a bit longer and I cropped it. And I do kind of weirdly like this top. There's something about it because there was something about where we dabble in maximalism thing. It would be pretty weighed down by actual what's the word I'm looking for? Doodads, jewelry and buns and thingamabobs. My original thought was to maybe get instead of maybe these like heavy metal doodads, jewelry bits, maybe like some sort of almost like just like a felt, like maybe not this, but something to the effect of, this or some variation where it's like that. I know, and of course now I'm like, well, go ahead and like a moment of silence for this upcycle that can. I guess it could be. I could figure it out.
I said you can add in.
I know that's true,
but I'm like somehow have to include.
Well, I could do a flower with. I don't have a. Where's the spaghetti strap I can use? Wait. Everything falls. Typical. Okay. I could use the soutache method to make like a flower shape. It might be kind of tricky because it's kind of thick. And so that could be the concept of like flowers, but it could be like soutache. Elastic wise, again, I could just beef up this ruching with a thin piece. And of course, then I'm like, okay, I'm like too easy. Now I've got, which I'm like, these videos should be short and fun. I'm like, no, it has to be painful and hellish for me. Yeah, that would just be like a little stitch there. Again, I have to decide, confirm what is the front, what's the back. Or I could do it to both, and it's reversible.
Yeah.
And
you can wear it anyway.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think, just for funsies, I'm like, what else would be a possibility? Wait, let me just make sure. Another way to use elastic. Obviously, I could do some smocking throughout. That would take a minute, and you would be able to see it through the mesh. So it could be great or it could be crap. I could do like use the trim and in a kind of soutache fashion, but like as a trim, line the neckline and or armholes. But this is kind of a light fabric, and so I just don't know if that would help the structure or if that would kind of make it like weird, wavy and weird. I could do the soutache down the center. Like, I don't know if there's a way to kind of ungather this if I wanted to. I guess I'd have to like fully cut it maybe and resew it, and then sew the soutache like down the center, and then I call it a day. Or the side seams as well. I could do some sort of grid or cage or something. That could be it. And then elastic wise, I'm not sure, but I'm just saying that could be another soutache possibility. These are TSA bags that I bought just because I was like putting things in Ziploc bags like a fool, and I'm like, wait, there's no depth to that. Anyway, got these, and I'm like, wait, I can rework them, repurpose them. I can rework them. I can rework it. I started out having categories like elastic and then spaghetti strap and whatever, and of course now they're just everything's in every container. I forgot I have elastic in here too, so I could kind of like underwear style, like sew this along the edge of the neckline as well, because it has like, I'm sure there's a word for it, but it has like the little nubs, it's a little like underwear elastic, or kind of more like, sounds weird, like 70s 80s underwear elastic. I don't think nowadays everything's like modal or whatever. It's made of bamboo. Okay, sorry. And
is that pink elastic or is it
there is some coral elastic that's kind of fun. I know, I'm sure we all have this where it's like I bought it and I'm like, oh my god, I love it, I can't wait to use it, and then I'm like, well, I gotta save it forever, I can never use it, and
it's
then
now coveted.
Yeah, exactly. And then it sits and rots, and then it's unusable because then it turns to, it just crumbles into dust. I do have the stripy elastic, and this I think was accidentally dyed a bit pink during some some other project. Some more underwear elastic, and this is kind of like that, but it's kind of got the loops or whatever on both sides,
like lingerie elastic.
Yeah, that's true. It could be like kind of like a bra strap. Oh yeah, this is something, sorry, I don't know if this is in or out or whatever.
I love it.
Okay. This is something I didn't know existed until I started making the crinoline skirt fluff dresses. And it's so handy. It's basically like there's different like buttonholes in this elastic. So like, say you have some sort of, let's say a crinoline skirt or whatever, and you don't fully close up that tunnel, and this kind of like sticks out, and you can like button it. I know it's kind of hard, maybe hard to see, but like, I'm doing a horrible job. You can button it here, like, so it's just more adjustable, and obviously it would be a little bit longer, but like, yeah, I didn't even know this existed. It seems like a very specific project you would need this for. I'm like, how would this work? Because it'd have to be kind of an open waistline situation. But I don't know, I thought that was cool. And like that way, especially if you're upcycling and you're like, oh, this could fit a couple of sizes, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to make something adjustable.
Yeah, more adjustable. Yeah. I guess I could work for straps too.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you have the button on the garment. Anyway, something for another day. But I mean, I don't think you can use it. I'm not gonna waste your time talking about it though. I like how vintagey, again, I don't know what you can see, this ball of this Gordian knot of elastic.
Like a cool bag.
I know, it kind of actually, yeah. Oh yeah, and then sort of a bungee cord style. It's hard to sew on though, because it's just, I don't know.
So circular.
Yeah. And turgid? What's the word I'm looking for? It's thick. Yeah, like thick and
dense.
Also, there is elastic that has been shot. That sounds bad. Shot. It's shot. It's shot elastic. I'll retake that. They had to put her down.
Like a horse on Little House.
Yeah, like Old Yeller. That's so funny that you talk about Little House on Prairies. It was on the prairies. I was just listening to a podcast, and it's called like How Did We Get Weird or something, and it's a Swedish show, and they just talk about, it's like a lot of these kind of shows, right? Let's talk about nostalgia. And they'll have different guests, like comedians and stuff on. And anyway, they were talking about Little House on the Prairie. So it's just funny you mention it. Anyway.
I'm like the only person in my age group who knows.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're like, bonnets and hoop and stick, going to the general store and getting some gingham.
put me and my sister in the same room, and we'll both like sing the whole theme song.
Oh wow! I don't think I remember the theme song.
It's da 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 da
It's a long one.
I have the whole thing memorized.
Wow.
It's burned into my memory.
Okay, I kind of remember.
And they're like running down the hill,
yeah.
and then Carrie falls, and she's like,
just flops and slops down the hill.
And they're like,
well, except back in the day, if you fall, break your leg, like, well, again, you gotta put her down. You gotta put her down.
Like the horse.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of that, and so. Okay, sorry. I was talking about that show. How did we get weird? It's like, how did we
get traumatized?
Yeah, it's like a lot of that. So I actually I'll do one take where, in case you don't want to put in a lot of horse execution, horse murder. There's also elastic that lost its elasticity, and that could also be in the mix. Other trims I have, these are mostly double fold bias tape. DFBT. If you watch the show, you know our famous acronym. Maybe that. Here's a tiny piece, so that could save if we're talking low waist and all. There we go. Okay, we got some scraps, so I don't have to dip into this. I really like white and cream together. It's one of those things that, as a kid, I was like, you can't do that. You can't mix bright white and cream and kind of like navy and black or brown and black. These rules you're told as a kid in the 90s or whatever. And it's like, that's what's interesting. I don't know.
You grow up and you figure out, I'm not going to get struck by lightning if I...
Yeah, it's like my entire life's a lie. Everyone's full of shit. I can do whatever I want.
Because soutache doesn't have to be with the spaghetti strap, does it? Or is that literally?
It has to. Or never mind. I was gonna say the horse. Never mind. Soutache. I'm sure there's a lot of. I think it's just more of the concept of the bridge between applique and embroidery, and I'm sure you can do any width. I'm sure you could even like the rope belt, the cording. I mean, if you can get that under the machine or hand sew it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it could be like. I think the point is that, I mean, I could be wrong, not to put a rule on it, but I imagine that it's just more of a linear thing, because otherwise it would be an applique.
Basically,
there has to
be applique.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why I'm like, let's think about language, man. Like, what even is what's a line? Oh God, sorry. Sometimes I'm like, how annoying. Like, how am I coming off? How? On a scale of 1 to calling like the cable company, how annoying am I? We call this pile just like the showgirl pile, the sort of like kind of femme. I don't know. Anyways, no. I keep it's one of those things I keep putting in the mix, and then I'm like, oh, because it's crazy, but I'm like, if I actually had to use this, I might be a little mad. Or maybe it'd be like, I'd be like, that's taking over the entire piece. It's dominating. Yeah, it's all about that and how I can hide it. No, that's kind of cool actually with the ruffle. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of like a sort of jabot.
I like that.
That's kind of sweet.
I do like that.
I mean, that could be something. I do like that, but I would have to figure out the soutache of it all. Ribbons. That could be soutache, kind of, This is kind of cool. This sort of eyelash texture, I think, was in our knit rework knit video that we ended up it was like not instructional even a little bit. It was just being loopy. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that, just like floating. Hold it to the side. So yeah, I'll save a couple of these to the side in case there's a way to work them in with the other elements. But we can't always get what we want in the upcycle roulette game, you gotta just
gotta buckle there.
The hand you've been dealt. I'm just like, actually, that's kind of interesting down the middle. I don't know. I don't know how much you can see, but the viewer can see. But I don't know. There's something kind of interesting about that. I don't know.
Especially with the gathers.
That's true. So I could punch up the gathers, use the elastic, and then have that, and then, or wait, could soutache be sewing beads?
No.
Kind of. Wow, rules. She's trying to ruin me. Okay, well, I'll hold this to the side because it's interesting, but it's also one of those things like with old beading or old jewelry where I'm like, how old is this thread? And if I look at it wrong, is it just gonna disintegrate? Yeah.
As you're sewing it together,
it's like, well, I was gonna say that would have to be a hand sewing thing, and yeah. Okay. As far as I can tell at this point, I will probably utilize, here's just some sort of like, maybe if it makes sense to use these sort of like extra bits. Here are the bits I might be working with. And okay, no more vamping. I gotta get started. So then I'm like, should I do a cream soutache trim instead?
There's no way the mics
didn't pick that up. There's construction happening next door. Yeah.
If you hear anything, sounds like we're murdering people.
Yeah. This is our alibi tape. Okay, the only thing with using something that's like, this is a little more flat, is I don't know if I could tape to the curves that well. Like this is flat, but it's like elastic, so somehow I feel like, if I want to do a curve, I don't know if it'd be a little more bendable. I feel like I had all these ideas and now I've forgotten all of them. I mean, like, I'm like, well, I have the pieces I liked, but I'm like, I feel like there was something else that I was going to do and now it's gone. Okay. I was like, I'm just going to pin and I'm not going to vamp. And I'm like, I'm a liar and a fraud. Yeah, let's see. Okay, soutache. Make a decision. If I had cream or white this, I think number one, I would be a little less whatever. Yeah. And then we kind of liked the ruffle thing.
Yeah.
But that's not soutache.
You can always add soutache.
Yeah, but where? Yeah, I do actually like this more as like a thing.
But you could always do like this soutache just like around the sleeves, or like you were saying a squiggle, but is that too much?
You said I couldn't do soutache on the edge. You said that was cheating. Because I said, oh, can I do it as a trim? Like soutache as like the trim edge, and you're like, no. And I was like, okay.
Oh, I thought that was the jewel. Did I only say no to the jewelry though? I think you can use it as a trim.
We've got to record it. Let's run the tape. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea.
It's on
we'll see.
record now.
Well, let's see if it will go.
I think it's fine.
And then do the like run a tape back.
Yeah. It's in black and white. I'm like,
no, you're a bitch. That's true. So I could punch up the gathers, use the elastic, and then have that, and then, or wait, could soutache be sewing beads?
No.
Kind of. Wow, rules. Okay. So if the ban has been lifted and I can use elastic as a soutache and as sort of a trim, then I'll maybe do the elastic, underwear elastic around at least the neck. I don't know if I will do it around the sleeves. Maybe just around the neck, and then maybe see about doing the, again, like maybe it's not called jabot, but this ruffle. I don't know why I'm immediately like, I see this and I'm like, it's a rave. It's what's a year this would be a thing. It's somewhere between 97 and like, well, 2007 or something. Anyway, it's like kind of a early 2000s, maybe 90s rave, tech cyber kind of tank. Anyway, and then we're gonna make it feminine. I'm going to cut this trim and then sew down the jabot, which I will then find out that's not the word at all. And yeah, the ruffle. I'm not sure this will look good. It might look bad, but in theory, I think the textures and colors like look interesting. I know it's hard to see here. It looks like wavy.
I think it already looks good.
Yeah, so it's delicate. I don't know. Yeah, this just definitely changes it. Okay, I'm just gonna try this first, and we'll see. I am going to stitch the elastic sort of soutache.
It's so loud. I can't imagine that the mic.
Yeah, it's like not just like, oh, the air conditioner's kind of going.
Yeah.
I could also, if you want to go fully little Bo Peep, I could also, like, the ribbon, is that anything? Just like tie it at the sleeve. I don't know, like, or maybe the back. I don't know. That could that be anything? It's more about thinking about things in a different way and pinning shittily. That's what
made its own decision.
Yeah, it's like no.
That's cute.
I don't know.
I kind of like that.
I don't know if I love the pink with the cream and the white. So maybe let me see how it would look with the cream.
Let me see.
Yeah, I just don't think I like the tone of that. I'm not saying that this is even like 1,000% better.
I like it.
But I don't know. I just don't know if I like the sort of yellowy beigey and then that pink. Here is where we're at so far. I'm going to go to the machine and sew down the elastic trim around the neck for sure, because I have to, because the rules. And when I'm at the machine, I'll figure out if the ruffle looks good and if this very controversial bow looks good. So when you see me in a minute, it could look like this or it could look totally different. So we'll see. New day, new outfit.
Yeah.
I guess I did have a haircut in that one. Okay. Here is the final top. I think it turned out beautifully. I did a little switcheroo on the back. Instead of the ribbon, I did this sort of piece of eyelash sweater knit. I thought it kind of worked with the modern kind of 90s. I don't know why I keep going like cyber. Maybe that's a stretch. But I thought that was kind of interesting. And technically it is like a, we kind of established it could be a reversible as far as that could be the front. Might be weird to have a ruffle in the back, but maybe that could be cool. The ruffle, I think it turned out pretty nicely. When I tried it on, it did kind of like, it's hard to do this with my mic, it kind of puffed up. And so I might do like a tiny little stitch here and here just to kind of keep it in place. I might add another little section here because I might have sewn this too low. I did end up sewing this right along the top of the neckline because when I sewed on the elastic, it kind of like flopped and waved. Like I tried to loosen the tension on the machine and I did a longer stitch, nearly a basting stitch, because I was like, okay, I just want this to be like, I don't want it to be gathered or, and I was afraid of pulling the elastic too tight. I think even when I ironed it down a little bit, it still kind of flopped, but I think the ruffle hides it a little bit. It's not so bad in the back. Overall, I love the sort of mix of cyber hacker rave wear, bright white mesh, and the romantic organza ruffle, the cream and the white together, the little texture on the sweater. So within the context of Upcycle Roulette, that is a success. I got a good thing. Is there one side that looks a little better?
Nope.
They look pretty much the exact same. This one is a little bit more of a V. Is that bad or good? No, they're both the same. They're the same. Calm down. I'm trying to tell myself, like, you can be silent and think instead of just vamp.
Yeah.
And then I start talking and you're like, well, I can't edit out all that crap that you just slid into. Like, sorry. Cut that out, burn it. Instead of like, hey is for horses, like, so that's what we sew here, so that it's kind of relevant. That was not even a joke. That was just a random series of words. Okay. These are TSA bags that I repurposed. So if I'm not on a trip, which I'm, I don't take as many trips as I would like. Anyway, but this is, okay, that was nothing. Okay.
No.
Flattened,
It's like at the front of the cutting seam.
Okay.
The cutting seam?
Yep.
You know what I meant.
I mean, I don't, but
Cutting mat.
Okay. My original thought, sorry if there's just doing this 50 times. Stop vamping. I think there's a difference between, sorry, like, I have not started this project. Okay. I just didn't know if I could do that one more time, just in case that was weird.
Perfect.
Okay. And I can
clear.
pull the way. Pull the way. What does that mean? Okay, pull away emotionally.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I would say within the context of Upcycle Roulette, that is a success. I go on, you good thing. Missed entirely. Wow. It's kind of a light object.
It's like throwing
It has its
paper.
own gravitational pull or something. Okay, one more. Maybe I can do it. In the context of Upcycle Roulette, I think it's a success. Success. Done. And that's a good take. All right, we're good. The end.